Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we'll be doing this mock setup for a, quote unquote baby shower theme or a gender reveal. Yeah, and the colors I use will be listed in the description box. I know everybody's going to ask. It's in the description box, guys. Go look in the description box. So I'm going to come and I want to show you guys the H method up close. I mentioned this in the last video, so I'm showing you guys here exactly what I am doing. I use Scotch blue tape when I am working on like painted surfaces and things like that, because I don't want to damage anybody paint, especially on walls or backdrop, because people pay money for this stuff and they work hard. So that's the little one she wanted to help. And I tied my 260s in a knot like this because I don't wrap my balloons around. I honestly don't. It just takes a lot of handwork. So I try to do things that's just easy and efficient. And I think just making a loop and putting the balloons on and it stays just like that works for me. Now, one thing I didn't do, which I typically do when I'm using the Scotch blue tape, is I add another piece of tape on top because it easily rips as it did, and I am now adding some duct tape over top of it, which will be on top of the blue Scotch tape, so it won't damage the wall at this point. And I usually do that, but because the Scotch blue tape, if you pull on it, it does rip easily. But if you do that one piece over top, now I suggest doing it after you already add the Scotch blue tape, so you don't have to add the duct tape onto the backdrop or whatever. But when it comes to the floors, I do add the black tape or the duct tape, Gorilla tape. I add that to the floor itself. These floors are marble, if I'm not mistaken, or I'm usually working on like hardwood floors, which they don't damage it because they're not going to be down there for a long period of time. They're usually down there for the time of the event, and then it comes up, so it doesn't damage the walls. But see, I am adding the tape over top. That way, when I pull on it, it's not going to rip and come apart. So I'm building the garland. For this design, this is the backdrop. The venue owner, who's also have rental props, she reached out to me about doing this mock setup, and I said, sure, why not? I thought about it first, and I'm like, yes, I want to work on building relationships in my community this year, so this was a great way for me to do that. So I am working on, she sent me the backdrop and what the color was going to be. I didn't want to go the nude brown route. I wanted to do something like muted, something fun, and I thought this was really pretty, especially because you can use it for boy or girl. And you can mix it up. So this is what I did. And I'm building these. I have clusters of 8 and I'm doing clusters of 6. All depends on where at. I feel like the hardest part for me sometimes is color placement, where I want the colors at. Let me know if you guys have a hard time with color placement as well, especially if you're working with like over 3 colors. You always trying to find ways. Like for here, I wanted to separate my nude color that I had and that white sand that's like at the bottom, dangling right now. So I wanted to keep those separated because they was pretty similar in color, and unless you probably another balloon person, you will know they 2 different colors, but the average eye probably wouldn't pick up on that they 2 different colors. So I definitely wanted to keep those separated, but you guys see I just did another H method on the floor because in my head I kind of wanted the garland to like come starting in from the middle of the backdrop and basically like flared out into this large design. So that's what I had in mind, and I'm tying on another cluster of 6 balloons, and I'm making sure I tied it to the blue cluster to the right, and then I also tied it to the cluster on the left. So I wanted to make sure they both was tied. And now I'm going in with a cluster of 8 balloons with a for the nude, and that has a 16-inch balloon in it. So I also try to make sure that my 16 inches are kind of spread out within my design. I don't typically like a lot of them. It depends on what kind of style I'm going for that day. And yes, you can have multiple different styles. I feel like people always like get hung on just doing one style, but I feel like you can have many different styles. I feel like my style, it all depends on the colors. It depends on the theme. It's so much that I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this style. I'm going to do this style. I like doing different things because I get bored easily. So I like doing different things to keep it interesting. I mean, balloons are interesting enough and it keeps me on my toes, but I still like to do different things and try things out because you never know if you like it if you don't try it. So I like to try things out. Here, that is a cluster of 6 balloons that I am tying to that rosy color or blush color to the right. And I also tied it to the nude color at the bottom on the, at the bottom. And here I'm using my quads of 4 balloons. You guys know I love my quads at the end. I feel like it's a great way of closing your garland out. They give it that nice pointy look. It sits directly on the floor. And I don't do the H method all the time on the floor. Sometimes I just do one strip of tape because I'm just lazy. Pretty much. That's just to sum it up. I don't know what else to say. I'm just lazy sometimes. I don't want to do the full H method. Sometimes it's just too much. It's too much. So I may just do one piece of tape and leave it just like that. I'm adding another piece of quads that I'm going to later add something else to that. You guys will see. And I'm adding some 6 inches. And I love building piece by piece. So I'm learning that even though I love those large balloon structures, they look really pretty, they nice, I don't think those are for me. I like small, intimate structures. I like little, small, cute, artsy designs. I don't really care to do those big ones. Like, I can't even imagine having to order like thousands and thousands of balloons at once. Like, my head would explode. Like, I just have too much anxiety for that. I would just be like overwhelmed. And not saying that I would turn down a job if someone reached out. Like, if it's a one-off, I would probably do it. But like, I'm not shooting to do like those really big large setups. Like, I'm staying in my lane and do what I do. I like these little small ones. I can go step by step, cluster by cluster, something cute, small. Like, I like these. I like them. So this is what I like, you guys. But I added, oh my God, I think I missed it, but I had added a dupe inside that blush color on the floor. It was a quad, you guys remember, if you can go back. And then I added a dupe to make it a cluster of 6 because it just wasn't giving the fullness that I needed. So that's why I went back and added it. And now I added another quad. It's something you guys not going to see on camera that I did. So you guys see the top part and how it's kind of short, and on camera it's hard to see the difference unless it's like a side by side. I may add the side by side at the end. But actually, if you guys didn't know, on my Instagram I started a subscribers only where I do set up recaps in depth, basically talking about my learned lessons, what I would do differently, a little bit more detail with other people's. I go live and we talk about it. So basically, here at the top part, it did have like a pointy look. However, in the photo that I took before I noticed, after I noticed that the top part was just too short and the bottom was like super flared and fluffy. And because it just looked too short and stubby, I wanted to extend it out a little bit more, and you guys will see it in a video at the end on how I did that. So I basically added a cluster of 8 balloons and then another quad on top, and it basically extended it up a little bit more. That way it really the shape looked to me better, and then it didn't look like kind of short and just short and wide. I don't know, no pun intended. But yeah, so I'm adding on my 5 inches. You guys know these are 5 inches quads of 4 balloons. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm so geeky this morning, you guys. So these are quads of 4 balloons that I added, and I love these on certain looks, and these are just one of the looks I love. So you guys see at the top, it was a cluster 8 balloons, and then on top of that, it's a quad of 4 balloons. That's what I added, and this is the final outcome. The cake was like a false cake. It wasn't real, but it was super, super pretty. The sign was custom. The backdrop is gorgeous. And this is also the setup with some floral that I had, but I didn't like the floral that I had with the cake. Some people did. I did a poll on Instagram. If you didn't see, some people did, some people didn't, but I did. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye.